Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we got a axis deer hind quarter that we're going to butcher. Going to break down the different muscle groups on it, get it vacuum sealed and stored in the freezer. Similar process to the wild hog I've done in the past. I'm just going to show how similar it is, just with bigger pieces of meat. All right, it's a big piece of meat here. Get a good chunk of meat out of this thing, so let's go ahead and get started. First thing is, I like to, if there's any hair still on it, I like to get that off. A little paper towel makes it easy. This has been in the cooler for a couple of days, so meat is nice and dry. Did a pretty good job of getting most of that hair off, so it doesn't seem like it's got a lot. Okay, let's get started here. I'm going to cut some of this off right out of the get-go. Just clean it up a little bit. We can get started. I like to use the Victorinox knives. They're really good. You can tell that Alright, so let's start with this seam right here. Once I open up that seam, you can start putting your finger in there. You can see it starts to separate fairly easily. You just follow those seams. You can separate the meat fairly easy. This here that you're seeing here, this piece of meat is the bottom round. And this is where I'll peel this back because there's this gland right here, all this white that you hear. I like to cut all that out before I cut any more into my meat. Get all this out. Cut into that gland so you can ruin your meat real quick. See, you can tell, but there's that gland. You don't want to cut into that. This right there. That out of the way. Now we're free. Continue to butcher. All right. So. Cut that. There you go. There's your bottom round. Nice piece of meat. Oh, let's weigh this. That's almost 3 pounds of meat right there. Good chunk of meat. Again, just follow these seams and it's real simple. Start separating this piece. This piece that I'm about to cut out is considered the eye of round. See this little chunk? There's the eye round. Okay. Continue to go around here. Some more of this fat out of the way. This chunk of meat right here is your top round. We'll cut that out next. Kind of follow this seam. Cut some of this sinew out of the way. This is femur bone. Just follow that femur around. You can carve this out real easy. There we go. Just follow this seam. There you go. There's your top round. Big chunk of meat right here. Makes a good roast. Cut some of this. That can be for burger. Cut some of this out here. It's all going to be for ground meat. All right. So then up here, start cutting some of this out. This piece that you see up here is the tri-tip. That sits on top of the sirloin tip, which is right here. You can see the seam right here. We can cut that out. And this right here is your rump. This is the rump, that piece right there. I like to cut some of this off, clean it up a little bit. that seam up. Careful not to cut into your sirloin tip. There we go. Now we can separate that. Cut the rump off the femur as well. Just follow this all the way around. Boom. Cut this. Okay. There's your tri-tip. Here's your rump. All right. And here's your sirloin tip. I don't cut too much of that, especially if I'm going to freeze it. Helps protect the meat. I do vacuum seal all my meat, so my meat will last in the freezer for a long time. Typically it doesn't because I'm cooking it, but if I need it or I killed more than I needed, definitely will last. All right, so now I'm gonna cut out the sirloin tip. It's a football shaped muscle here, and all I'm gonna do is follow my knife around the femur. We're gonna cut out a whole piece of meat here in a minute. There we go. Kind of separate. Cut off this ligament. There we go. There's your sirloin tip. Football shaped muscle. Alright, this is your shank, and then you got the hot muscle that attaches to that here. We'll cut that off too. Like a lot of people don't know what to do with a shank, but you put that in a slow cooker, a few of them in there, it comes out real nice and tender. Just cutting this tendon off. Alright. Let's go ahead and cut this. Again, all you got to start is a seam, and then it just starts to separate. See how easy that separates? There's another good piece of muscle. And then your hock. I mean your shank, sorry. Cut this off. We can expose this. We can cut this femur bone off. Cut all this off. There's your femur. Femur's off. There's a little bit more meat for brown. Cut off that. And bam. Big old femur bone. It's from an axis. And that's it. Simple as that. Thank you for watching. Eye round, bottom round, rump, top round, tri-tip, shank, sirloin tip, hock off your shank. All right, let's see how much this leg dressed out weighed. We'll put everything in the bowl all together just to see how much it all weighs. Wow, we got 11 pounds. I didn't put the shank in there because I don't want to count the bone, but we got 11 pounds of meat. All right, let's get it all vacuum sealed and in the freezer. Okay, start vacuum sealing them.